everyone. My name is Tammy. Welcome back to Shea Butter Adventures. Today we're going to be going over my interview process with my hospital. How did I choose the area that I wanted to work in? Why did I choose that area? Questions that they ask in my interview, so on, so forth, this, that, and the next. Okay? Okay. Let's get into it. My name is Tammy. I would love it. Like, hearts. I would love it if you follow me on all social media platforms that I am on, which would be Instagram at Shea Butter Adventures, TikTok at Shea Butter Adventures 25. And if you liked and subscribed and hit the notification bell on my YouTube. Every time when I say the YouTube one, I'm like, that's a lot. But you love me, so you can do it for me. Thanks. So I work in med-surg at a hospital in North Carolina. My hospital is extremely small. I always call it a baby hospital. It does not hold more than 99 beds. The floor that I am on is the only med-surg floor in the entire hospital, and we only hold 40 beds. My ICU holds 10 beds, and ER holds 20. So it's not a lot, but we make it work or whatever. And I love my hospital people or whatever. So it's whatever. So how did I choose my hospital? Let's get into the states. So for those of you who go with an agency or even like with direct hire, you would know that you need to have at least 5 states that you're going to consider. So my top 5 states that I told my agency that I would consider, and for those of y'all who keep asking me, what agency did you go to? What agency did you go? I have a social media clause in my contract, so I can't talk about my agency. And I don't want to talk about them anyway. I want to talk about me, my experience. Anyway, so 5 hospitals. 5 states. I had put down for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. I got job offers in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. Yeah. I ended up accepting my job offer for North Carolina at a med-surg hospital. My job offer for Beaufort, South Carolina, I did not end up accepting because literally the first thing that popped up when I Googled Beaufort, South Carolina was like this racism case that was going on. And I was like, that's a sign. Never mind. And the cost of living in that area was really high. It was close to Hilton Head Island, which would have had a lot of fun stuff for me to do. But the rent was like, for 1 bedroom, 1 bath, no ma'am. And they didn't really have a lot of options around that area. It was very rural, like more rural than my area from what I could tell. Then I had another job offer for a hospital in Norfolk, Virginia. Very pretty state, very pretty area. From what I gathered, the crime in that area wasn't the best. It wasn't, low. It was low, medium, going on high in the area that my hospital was at. Rent in that area was expensive too. Side note, rent in the US is going up astronomically. Like, it is getting ridiculous everywhere you go. So if you could cut corners where you can, cut corners where you can. So in South Carolina, I was offered a med-surg post. In Virginia, it wasn't med-surg. It was like, I think it was like surgical only or something like that. It was like a funny floor. It was like a mix of like med, neuro. It was something funny. Because I remember saying, I didn't even know y'all had like a floor for that. Maybe like telemed or something like that. I refused that job offer because of the stuff that I said earlier, the crime, the cost of living, XYZ. I just couldn't do it by myself. And that's why I said, like, certain stuff I would have to turn down. If you are married in a good relationship, you would not have to turn it down because then you would have 2 sources of income, if you see what I'm saying. I finally settled on North Carolina because me and 2 of my friends ended up moving together from Nassau within a few months of each other, and all of us wanted the same state within driving distance. So we had settled on North Carolina because my friend had got her job offer here, and I got mine, so it really only left like 1 person. All of us went to the same agency. So I settled on North Carolina. I initially got a job offer for a bigger hospital in the system, which can hold about 500 beds, but they ended up switching me over to a small hospital in the system that I love now, so I don't really care about it too much, about the switch. My interview. So for my interview, it was like early in the morning. I think it was like 9:30 in the morning or something like that. They come on. It was like a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting. I had an interview with my two current managers. And they just asked me like my current work experience, which area do I work in now, which area do I have experience in before, how much years experience do I have in the current post that I'm in, how much years experience do I have in the previous post. So I have two main areas of experience. I have experience in med surge and I have experience in psychiatry. Um, didn't want to do psych, so I was hoping for a med surge position, but most of my experience was just on those two lines or whatever. Um, so I told them all of that. Then they asked, like, what do I feel comfortable with? What do I not feel comfortable with? Is there anything I want to share in terms of those two? So the biggest thing I had to share in terms of that was we do not do electronic charting back home. We do paper charting, and we do not put in IVs back home. The doctors do. So they were like, oh, we can train that on the job. Epic, we can train Epic on the job. That's the electronic computer system that they use. And they were like, we can train IV on the job. Most of our patients come in with an ER with the IV. They don't stay that long, X, Y, Z. So they just like, giving me heads up on certain things. They asked me like what floor would I want to work on, what shift do I feel comfortable working. So I wanted med surg. So I was like, yeah, I would prefer med surg. And then I would prefer days or nights. Actually, I think I told them nights. Y'all, I hate nights. That's a story for another day. I hated, 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 hated. Also, side note, a lot of these companies, y'all need to ask them ahead of time which area they feel in for y'all to go in because they will put y'all on nights for 3 years. And I know if they had done that to me, no exaggeration, I would have to break my contract. I hated nights. I have a video on my phone. I have a picture on my phone that I took to remind myself that girl, you hate nights. Don't ever let nobody swing you into thinking that you like nights. And the thing is, I did nights back home. I definitely had to do nights during COVID time, and I hated it then. But for some reason, I thought I wasn't gonna hate it in the States because you get more money and you have to deal with less people. So I was like, yeah, you get more money, it's a differential. If you work nights, weekend, it's like more money, and you don't have to deal with all these people. Da, 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 da. So you gonna love it. You gonna love it, Tom. You gonna love it. I hated it. I hated that foolishness. Never again. I have a picture of my phone, literally the tears like right here, just to remind myself, don't you ever do this foolishness to yourself again. Around 3 o'clock, I check out like, why am I up? If someone started dying right now, how am I supposed to give life saving measures? I can't even save myself. I couldn't do it. So I was like, yeah, nice enough for me. Um, so that was like, honestly, it was a very short interview. Just wanted to my experience, my skills, the amount of patients I usually deal with at the hospital back home, the amount of patients I usually deal with in psych and med surg, the amount of like certain cases that we get. Like, what are the cases we usually get on the floor? So it was like, oh, we get a stroke, got a diabetic ketoacidosis, XYZ. So they want to know, like, what is it that you usually deal with? Because obviously, if I usually deal with hypertension emergency and they usually get like Addison's disease, it might not be a good fit. So they asked questions like that. Then the questions I asked, I was like, hey, um, what like I don't really remember. Like I asked like how does scheduling work? Cause I like go. That's all I was saying in my head. I was like, yeah, like I need to know if my days could be together because I need to be able to take 8 days off. That's all I was saying in my head. And it's like we try to get days together. So I was like, how's scheduling like? How much weeks of orientation would I be on? Um, what's like the normal nurse to staff ratio? Uh, what's the amount of beds that you guys can hold? Do you expect me to float? If I do float, what would I be doing and where would I be going? So I think those were like the majority of the questions because when they did their little speech, they covered a lot of the random questions. And I think I have a video of questions that you should ask on my TikTok and I'll do one on YouTube too. But those are like my biggest things. The shift I will be working, if I'm gonna be floating, where are you guys okay with the fact that I don't do paper charting and I don't need you to force me to try to like, you are doing horrible, you need to get this electronic charting down. Like I don't know. You okay with the fact that I can't put in IVs? Like, scheduling was like my biggest thing because I don't need to be working Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, all breaking up. And then it was like, how do you do like PTO? Uh, you with your agency, PTO comes like in a certain way, but it's also like how many days of PTO can I take at a time? How do you treat sick leave, certain stuff like that. It's so important that when you get a job offer, you interview your offerees the same way they interview you. So if you need to know, because you never know, some of these bigger hospitals might include child care. Like they might include like a daycare that's in the hospital. You are a contract worker. Do I get pay incentives as a contract worker? So a pay incentive is, hospitals are short in the US, like they're really short. And because they're short, they offer like extra money added on top of what it is that you're getting paid outside of the agency. So if you get extra money, like my friend, she works in Winston and even in Ohio, they get like extra money. But like my company don't really offer it, but it was okay with me. And because they extra money compared to what my other friends was getting wasn't even that much extra. So like I think extra money at my company is like $10 an hour, something like that. But extra money at my friends' them hospital is like $50 an hour extra. So bear that in mind when you ask these companies, like, hey, I'm a contract worker. Do I qualify for extra money? Do I qualify for like extra pay incentives? XYZ. I will say with extra pay incentives, just remember they get taxed that. Like, they just tax the money so much over here. I had a one coworker worker. I will always remember this. When I first started working, she was my preceptor. And I was like, oh, she was like a older nurse, so her days remained the same no matter what. She didn't even have to put in her self scheduling. She worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, night duty, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every week. I was like, oh, you don't ever put in for like temporary pay incentives, like you don't do TPI. That's the extra money you get. Because she would qualify for it because she's actually that staff, and she was like, I don't do that because it just get taxed too much. It don't make no sense. And I was like, I don't see that happening. And I had another coworker say it, and I had one of my friends who moved over here, and she was like, wait, this just don't make no sense. She worked like 5 days a week for 2 weeks, and it just, to her, it made sense in a way, but it was also like, damn, that's how much they take out. That's where it's like, I don't want to say too much because like a lot of people know who I mean, sort of, but it's also like, damn, like that's how much they take out. Like I see the beauty of it. Like I see that if I work a couple of times, because my differentials are higher than my friends in where she lives, my differentials are higher than hers, but she gets a temporary pay incentive. I see money taken out for overtime, and she sees some money taken out for her pay incentives. And it's like, wait, just choose your state very wisely. I love where I'm at, but it's also like you could be worse, is what I'm saying. Like, I like North Carolina. They don't tax me that bad, but if you go to New York, if you go to California, by the time them taxes start hitting you, you could feel it. So just ask about all those other different stuff that I said. I feel like this video was all over the place, but my mind is all over the place sometimes. See what I'm saying? So if you could be a viewer of this channel, then you have to know that my mind don't always be 110% where it's supposed to be. So that's just what we have to do. As always, my name is Tammy. Follow me on Instagram at Shea Butter Mentions. I even forget. Like I was like, what am I gonna say? Like what my ending part is again? And I remember it's be me begging y'all to follow me on social media, and then y'all let's jump over that part. Y'all let's jump over the part, guys. Be like, follow me on Instagram at Shea Butter Ventures. Follow me on TikTok at Shea Butter Ventures 25. Follow me on YouTube at right here. Subscribe to my channel. Y'all just jump over all of that. Just like, oh, good video, Tammy. So you gotta follow me then. And you know you're going on Instagram or TikTok right after this. You can't just do boop, 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 boop. You can't just click the link in the description and just hit follow. That's crazy. I ain't judging you. I just saying it's a little bit weird, but whatever. As always, thank you for watching my video. Catch you on the next one. Happy venturing.